Verstappen has been unstoppable all year, and he has truly had a record-breaking season. So here is every record the Dutch driver has broken this year. Before I get into that, let's remind ourselves of all the records he already held coming into this year. Verstappen holds quite a few youngest ever records. At the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, he set a new record for the youngest driver to participate in an F1 weekend, aged just 17 years and 3 days. Then the following season, he became the youngest driver to start an F1 race at the 2015 Australian Grand Prix, aged 17 years and 166 days. And then the following race at Malaysia, he became the youngest driver to score a point in Formula 1 at the age of 17 years and 180 days. The following season in 2016, he would set 4 more youngest ever records when he was promoted to Red Bull ahead of the Spanish Grand Prix, where he would become the youngest driver to lead a lap of a Grand Prix, stand on the podium, and win a race at the age of 18 years and 228 days. Then later in the season in Brazil, in a rather rainy race, aged 19 years and 44 days, he became the youngest driver to set fastest lap in a Grand Prix. A few seasons go by, and Verstappen set the last youngest ever record he holds on his own, when at the 2021 Austrian Grand Prix he set pole position, led every lap, set the fastest lap, and won the race. Become the youngest driver ever to score a Grand Slam, aged 23 years, 277 days. Now, he does had 2 more youngest ever records with other drivers. Him and Charles Leclerc set a new record for the youngest average age of the front row, of 21 years, 265 days, when the former karting rivals both lined up on the front row for the 2019 Austrian Grand Prix. And then later that year in Brazil, he, Pierre Gasly, and Carlos Sainz set the new record for the youngest average age of a podium, of 23 years, 8 months, and 23 days. And now on to the records he's broken this year, and a couple that he can break in the last 2 races / will break, because after all, there are still 2 races to go. Back at the Italian Grand Prix, Verstappen scored his 10th consecutive race win, breaking the 9 wins in a row record that has been held by Sebastian Vettel since 2013, and it was his 12th overall win of the season, with the record for the most wins in a season being 15, set by Max himself last year. And what do you know, he rather inevitably broke that record too, with the new record for the most wins in the season sitting at 17 after his recent win at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, but with 2 races to go, that could easily rise to 19. But this ties into a 71-year-old record that he broke with that win in Brazil. Max Verstappen will now hold the record for the highest percentage of races won in a single season. Having won 17 out of the total 22 races that will take place this year, he will finish the season having won at minimum 77.2% of the races, but that percentage could rise to as high as 86.3%. Either way, both of those values beat out the 75% set by Alberto Ascari in 1952. A 71-year-old record, one of the oldest records in the sport, gone. Continuing with the winning records, he now holds the record for the most wins from pole in a season, having won from pole 11 times this year. And he's actually converted his last 15 pole positions into a race win, which I think is a record. Anyway, in those 11 pole to win conversions that Verstappen has had this year, in 5 of those, Barcelona, Austria, Silverstone, Suzuka, and Qatar, he also set the fastest lap of the race, which matches Schumacher from 2004 and Ascari from 1952 for the record of most hat tricks in a single season. But again, with 2 races to go, Verstappen could easily break the record. Outside of records solely to do with race wins, Verstappen has set a new record for the most podiums in a single season with 19, the old record being 18 set by Max himself in 2021. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that raised to 21 after the last 2 races. But he will not become the second driver to finish on the podium in every race because Singapore happened. But while he can't equal that record, which was first achieved by Michael Schumacher, he has matched another of his records for the most consecutive top 2 finishes at 15 in a row. This does date back to the 2022 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but it does count because he matched it in this season. Elsewhere, Verstappen now holds the record for the most laps led in a single season, a record previously held by Vettel that Max has raised to 992 and counting, because again, with 2 races left to go with a combined total of 108 laps. We can almost guarantee that the total will rise to over 1,000 by the time the checkered flag falls in Abu Dhabi. That was a record that Max broke in Qatar, a weekend that saw him equal one of Schumacher's records for the most races to spare when winning the championship. Because the Dutchman won his third title after the sprint race, the Grand Prix hadn't happened yet, and so there was still 6 Grand Prix left in the season upon him winning his third world championship. The same amount of races left when Michael Schumacher took his, at the time, record equaling 5th title back in 2002. Then a slightly stranger one, but a record that's been equaled nonetheless. But at his home race, not only did Max equal the record for the most consecutive wins, a record he would, as I said, break at the next race, but on his way to winning, he made 6 pit stops, which equals the record for the most trips through the pit lane on your way to winning a race. A record that Jenson Button set back in 2011 in Canada. If you've done a kind with that race, by the way, what are you doing? Get F1 TV, it's like $6.99 a month, and go watch it. It's worth it. But I've also done a video on that race, so go check that out too. Final few, a few that he will break / can break by the end of the season. Across the final 2 races of the season, Verstappen will break the record for the most races as the championship leader, having led the championship since Barcelona last year, and at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, that will be his 39th race as championship leader, which is 2 more than the current record, which is 37, originally set by, you guessed it, Michael Schumacher. The next 2 he's kind of already broken, but it'll be official at the end of the season, and that's the record for the most points scored in a single season, which is a record he himself broke last year, and the biggest gap to second in the Drivers' Championship, which has been held by Sebastian Vettel since 2011 at 151. In fact, right now the gap from first to second is bigger than the gap from second to last, which is madness. Verstappen can match the record for the most fastest laps in a season. He's currently on 8 for the year, and the record is 10 by, well, take a guess, which means that with 2 races left, Max could match the record, and he can also break the record for the most consecutive points scored, a record currently sat at 998 held by Lewis Hamilton, but with Verstappen sat on 953 with 52 points still available this season, he could break it. And finally, not a record, but if Max wins the last 2 races of the season, he'll put himself 3rd in the list of most race wins, which, by the way, if he does that, is wild when you take into account that heading into the start of last season, he was on 20 wins, which would have put him down around 16th on the list with Mika Hakkinen. In fact, going back another year, heading into 2021, his first championship winning year, he was on 10 wins, which would have put him down in 31st place with James Hunt, Ronnie Peterson, Jody Scheckter, Gerhard Berger. It is quite frankly madness what Max has achieved recently. But that is every record Max Verstappen has broken this year, and a few that he will break and can break. If I missed any, then do please let me know in the comments below. It wouldn't surprise me if I missed 1 or 2. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.